So this is the listing expense sheet, and most of the blocks that are in white, you can add or change things. Some of them are locked because there are percentages and things that carry over. We're going to start with the customer name. Let's make up a name here, Donald Bright. Okay, and he lives at 1245 Florida Avenue, and he's going to list with us on November the 1st, 21. And we've already pulled comps, and we know that his house can sell for $450,000. And he has agreed to pay a 6% listing commission, and we're going to give the buyer 3%. Now, let's say for this example that we're on an 80-20 broker split. So the broker's going to get 20% of this transaction when it closes. And let's say that we're paying a desk fee of $295 to the broker. Now you'll notice just by me filling in this information at the top that some of the blocks are starting to fill in. So we've got our list price. This is in our total breakdown. We've got our list price, our commission. This is pre-broker commission. Then we have our broker cut, which is $2,700. The desk fee of $295, which brings the total commission to $10,505 before we get into any of the expenses. And then over here under the breakdown, we're already seeing percentages of our listing going out the window. Broker fee, 22.19%. So for those of you who've never put it into a percentage, if you're paying desk fees, in this scenario, you're paying 22.19% to your broker. So it's not a true 20%. Now I know depending on where you are in the country, your photography is going to cost different. Some of you have virtual tours built in. For space sake, we're going to just put everything that has to do with your photography, whether it's just pictures, virtual tours, all that's going to be in that. A lot of agents are doing drone photography. Sometimes that is a different person that you're paying for that. Not all photographers do both. So in this instance, we did photography and we paid for a virtual tour. So I'm just going to put $250 there. And let's say we paid $200 for the drone photography. Now I know that you reuse your open house signs, so you can do this however you want. Now let's just say that you bought 5 pointer signs at $5 a piece, so you got 25 bucks. Let's say your signs are wore out, or maybe this is your first listing, so we're going to go ahead and put that there. And I always do snacks in my open houses. Some people do just like cookies and soda. Some people do wine and cheese. Really just depends on how much you listed the property for and which area of town it's in, and also how expensive that is in your market. So if you're in a market where your average home price is $225,000 and this is a $450,000 listing, you may want to do wine and cheese. But for this example, I'm just going to put 20 bucks. That should cover just about anything you can think of. Then typically I do a drawing, so I have a gift that I'm giving away. This can range anywhere from a $10 item to a $100 item or more. So I'm just going to put $20 here. That's just a nice little gift that somebody would actually want to fill out a form for. Then your open house flyers. I mean, let's keep up with everything we're spending. You've got your paper and your ink and things like that. So maybe your brokerage, maybe they include that with your desk fee, so that doesn't cost you anything. Or maybe you have to pay 10 cents a copy or something like that. So let's just put $2 there. Let's say you were at 10 cents a copy and you printed 20. Now you've got your listing signage. This encompasses either your wooden bracket or your metal brackets. I know they're reusable. Those, especially the wood and metal, they last a while. So you may not want to put the full amount of your listing signage here. Maybe you want to do a portion of that. Maybe you've determined that you can use that same sign 40 times. So maybe you want to divide the cost of that by 40, but I'm just going to put $100 here. just for this example. Maybe again, this is your first listing, or you've changed companies and you had to get new signage. Sign writers, this is your coming soon, pending, for sale, new price, sold, any type of sign writers, including your name and cell phone sign writers that you may want to put at the bottom of your sign. It depends on how your sign is designed, but this is a true expense of the listing, so don't breeze past this. But I'm just going to put $10 because we're reusing some of the sign writers. And then your take one box. Now, I've done a training on this. This is a completely different training, but if you're not using take one boxes, you are leaving money on the table. A lot of agents say they don't use the take one boxes because a lot of the nosy neighbors take the flyers out of them. And I say to that, those are your future listings. So if you're not spending money there, you may want to reconsider and watch that training in the group. So I'm just going to put $20 for a take one box. Now, different people use different types of lock boxes. I prefer to use the Century boxes. That is what we use in our area, where an agent actually has to have the Century card to unlock the box. I know some of you newer agents may be using lock boxes that have combo codes on it. That's fine, but an average cost of a Century box is going to be about $150. So I'm going to put that here. You can find them used on eBay if you want to use that type of box. Just make sure that it's going to work in your MLS, and you want to contact that office. And I know there's other types of lock boxes, but this is just an example. Take one flyers, again, depending on if your broker includes that in your desk fee or not. You may have spent, well, in this case, you're going to want to print more than 20. So let's assume you're paying 10 cents a copy and you're going to print about 40 of those for your take one box. Whoops. It's going to be $4, not 40. All right. Now, most agents do not pay for the staging and cleaning. I honestly can say I've only paid for staging twice in my entire career of 20 years as an agent, but it does happen. So in the event that you have to pay for that, that can be expensive. Even if you're doing it yourself, you're going and getting used furniture and items to fill the home to make it feel like a home. You definitely do not want to leave a home vacant. Even if you just put a little table in the corner with a flower vase on it, it can cost you. So let's just assume for this scenario that we did pay for staging, and we did some basic staging. That was $500. And let's say that this is an out-of-state client. You had to pay for the cleaning because they were not in town. Maybe they don't have the money. Again, this is not something that we normally have to pay for as agents, but in this instance, let's say this listing, we did have to spend a little money to get the listing. All right, and then lead costs. So depending on where you're getting your leads from, this may be blank. You may have gotten this as a referral from another agent. So your lead cost here, you're going to leave it blank because there's actually another area for you to put in referrals. But let's say you actually did pay for leads. Let's say you ran Facebook ads and it cost you about, let's say, $9 a lead. Well, you would be tempted just to put $9 there, but how many leads did you have to buy in order to get that lead? So you may have had to buy 20 leads at $9 a pop to actually get a closing from it. So in this instance, I'm going to put $180 as your true lead cost. And then your online advertising, this is after you've gotten the listing and you're actually advertising it. Now, a lot of agents don't do that. They just put it on the MLS. This would be a good place for you to put some of your MLS fees because you can spread that out over multiple listings. But I do have an ROI calculator that you can put things like that on to keep up with for your yearly amount, so you may just leave that off. But let's just say you put it on the MLS, you posted it on a couple of social media sites for free, so you really didn't pay for any online advertising. So we're just going to say 0. And then just listed postcard. This is, I highly recommend this on your listings. Again, your future listings come from your existing listings. You get those from your nosy neighbors and the people around the area that live close by that property. So I recommend sending out just listed postcards. It's going to cost you about $1.50 a piece to send those out. So I recommend sending out at least 100. It's going to cost you about $150. Now you're not sending this out to get this particular listing sold. This is actually a marketing expense to get more listings, but I attach it to the listing that I actually sent it out on. Again, I have an ROI calculator. If you choose to leave that off of here, you can put that on that to keep up with those expenses. Now, not everybody has an assistant. I do have an assistant. She enters in my listings on the MLS. She also goes out and puts my signage out, my lock boxes. She makes sure that all the Take One flyers are filled up. She also prints those for me. She's also going to be the one that's uploading my photos, and she's going to be arranging some of these things like the staging and the cleaning. She also is the one that posts on social media for me. So I'm going to have several hours invested in her at $15 an hour. So I'm just going to put 45 bucks here. I'm going to assign that dollar amount to this listing. And then in this case, there were no other fees involved. Now, when this property closes, I am going to give a closing gift. I typically want to give a percentage of the list price. So in this case, I just want to show you really quickly what that percentage looks like. So on a closing gift, that's going to come over here to your closing fees. So if I spend $45 on a $450,000 listing, that actually works out to 0.33% of my commission. So that would probably be the most I would spend. You can get a nice bottle of wine. You can get nice, just nice closing gifts depending on your client. They may not drink wine. Now I put discount here. We're under closing expenses. Now I put discount because sometimes when you're selling a property, they're buying another, and they ask you, hey, I'm buying another property with you. Can you give me a discount? So rather than going up here and monkeying with the commission and things like that, I mean, obviously if you gave them a 1% discount, then you would just put 5% there instead. And you wouldn't put the discount here. I typically do not like to give my discounts in the form of a percentage. I usually like to assign a dollar amount. So for those of you who are like myself that want to assign a dollar amount, this would be a great place for you to put that. I'll say, sure, I don't mind giving you $500 off your listing if you're going to buy another property with me. So you would put that there. Sometimes your title companies will charge you if you prefer to get a paper check instead of having it sent directly to your broker. Now, everybody's pretty much digital these days, so nobody really does this anymore. So in this case, we're just going to say 0. And in this case, there were no other fees, so I'm going to put 0 there as well. Now, in the event that this was a referral, say from another agent or another platform like OpCity or something, you would put that here. I'm going to complete this demonstration first, and then we're going to go back and pretend that it was a referral. So now you've got everything entered in, so let's go look at the total breakdown. So we have a listing price of $450,000, commission is $13,500, your 20% broker fee is $2,700, your desk fees $295, and surprisingly you spent $1,776 on marketing. Did you know you spent that much? See guys, it adds up. You know, we buy all these things for our business, but then we don't really stop and add it up and apply it to the actual listing. And then at the end of the year, when we look at our total 1099 and we're like, where did all my money go? Well, we're going to go over here in a minute and we're going to see. And then in this instance, you gave them a $500 discount and a $45 closing gift. So your closings totaled for $545. There was no referral in this instance. So your total net commission is $8,184. Now I want to show you something here because you're actually going to get a larger check than that from your broker. So your commission pre-broker fees was $13.5. All right, so we're going to say $13.5. And then your broker's cut was the $2,700. That was the 20% that you gave to your broker. And then they're going to take out that $295 desk fee. So your broker's going to actually give you a check for $10,505. So you're like, okay, well, why the difference? Why is this saying $8,184 when my broker's actually going to deposit a check of $10,505 into my bank account? All right, well, let's do some subtraction here. Let's subtract this 8,000, this random number that may appear to be random, this $8,184. Where'd the other $2,321 go? Well, it's simple. Again, you had $1,776 in marketing, and all that was everything totaled up here. Your photography, your open house signs, the food, the gifts, the flyers, the printing, your assistant, your postcards, your lead cost, your cleaning, staging, all these fees that went into this listing, you actually paid out of your pocket up front before you ever sold it. So you're actually getting reimbursed. So if we back out that $1,776, there's the $545. There's the $500 discount and the $45 closing gift. Now, this $500 discount that you gave your seller, it's going to come off the CD at the closing company. So that actual commission check is going to be $13,000. That's going over to your broker before those fees. The title company is going to go ahead and take out that fee. So if it's on the closing line, it's a pretty good chance that it's coming out of your check before it even gets to your broker, with the exception of your closing gift. So when we go over here and we look at the breakdown of commission based off of where our money went, we can see that we're spending 3.33% of our commission on photography and photos. We spent about 0.5% on an open house. Not bad, $67 for an open house. Hopefully you got some buyers and maybe a listing out of that. You're spending almost 1% on your signage. Now, of course, these are things that you can reuse. You're going to reuse your signage, so you may not want to assign this high of an amount to your listing sign. You may want to divide that up over several listings, or just not put it on here at all and put it on the ROI calculator. Now, your print marketing is obviously going to be listing specific. It's going to be based upon that particular property, so it's not something you can reuse. So in the event that you're paying for printing, whether at home or at your office, this can add up. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. We were spending like $2 on open house flyers and $4 on take one flyers. Where did the rest of this come from? So the rest of this is coming from your just listed postcards. So that is, you've got some print marketing included in there as well. In this instance, we did not spend any money on advertising and the property prep cost. This is not normal, so you're not normally going to spend that. So in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and back it out of the numbers because that was just for an example anyway. So in this case, there was $0 spent on property prep costs, so that made your commission go up quite a bit. Not everybody has an assistant. If you do have several listings a month, especially if you're working with buyers too, I highly recommend at least having a part-time assistant. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Lockbox and other tools. So yeah, we do have other tools, and I did not really put that there, so you may want to put that either under other or your lockboxes. We have things like zip ties and things that we use on our signage to kind of hold things in place. You may go out and buy a hammer or some things to put your signs in the ground. Keep up with all of that. It adds up. Again, you can put that under lockbox and other tools or other costs. But your broker fees, that's where your lion's share of your commission is going to besides you. 22.19% went to the broker on this deal. So it adds up. Referral fees, we're going to get to that in a minute. Closing fees, this is in the event that you gave them a discount, but let's just say you didn't. So now that brought it back down to a reasonable amount, 0.33% for a closing gift. So in this scenario, you literally spent almost 30% of your commission on miscellaneous fees. So you may be thinking, well, I'm on an 80-20 split. Yep, you're on an 80-20 split. You're giving 20% to your broker, but you're also spending about 10% elsewhere. And it helps to see it like this, to say, okay, where am I spending too much money? You say, well, okay, 3.33%. That's a big number right there. So how can I trim this down? Well, maybe you can, talk to your photographer and say, hey, if I send you 6 listings a year, can you give me a discount? Can you knock it down to $200 per deal if I promise to give you 6? And they may work with you on that. So there's different things that you can do to kind of trim costs. Print marketing, again, you may be able to find a cheaper printer, maybe an online printer, and get that cost down a little bit. And again, some of these things you're going to be reusing, like the lockbox and the signage, so that's not going to be quite that high. But if you are paying 20% to your broker or more, you may want to consider looking for a more affordable brokerage, or a brokerage that at least gives you a cap after so many, after you've paid in so much. They say, okay, for the rest of the year you don't pay anything else, and you cap out. Some brokers don't have the cap. They just charge you the 20 or 30% irregardless. So that may be something you want to look into as well to get these costs down a little bit. So let's assume in this instance that you did not pay for the lead, and let's bring that down to 0, and that you actually got this lead from another person or another company, and you've agreed to pay 30%. So that is a huge, huge chunk of your commission. So it's about $4,000, and that's going to calculate into your total breakdown and your percentages. So if you're giving away a 30% referral fee, your broker fee is actually going to be a little bit less, because they're getting 20% off of the difference, off of the remainder. So that's going to affect your percentages here as well. So in this instance, you're actually giving away almost 61% of the commission. So you're actually making about 39% when you're giving away that 30% referral fee. So I actually talk to agents nationwide, probably about 50 agents a week, and a lot of them are working referral business, and they think they're just giving away 30%. Well, they're not. They're giving away a lot more by the time they factor in their broker fees and things like that. So I think it really helps for you to see the percentages and the total of where everything is going, so you know whether or not you're working smarter versus working harder. In this instance, you're working harder because you're doing all of this work for about 39% of the pay. So again, just helps to know. Now, I'm not knocking referrals. You can work referrals in between, but if you knew a better way to get leads, and we do offer that in our Facebook group, you can definitely learn how to get leads organically. It's just going to cost you time. It's not going to cost you money, but it's going to cost you time to get those leads. If you did choose to go a paid option, we are getting buyer leads as low as $3 to $5 a lead, and seller leads as low as $8 to $10 a lead. But again, we do teach many, many free organic methods. So if you'd like to learn more, you can always click right here at the MNC Facebook group. That's Marketing and Conversion for Realtors. We'd love to share with you how we're getting leads for free using several different methods, and teaching agents how to leverage and make more and keep more of the lion's share. So to wrap up, I'm going to take out some of these scenarios. We're going to go with an actual real life scenario. We're going to take out some of these things. Looks like I pretty much took out all of the little junk fees. Yeah, and we've got a 20% broker cut, 6%. So everything, this is more of the norm. The average agent is spending about 8 to 10% of their commission to sell a listing. Now, obviously, you can play around with these things. You can say, okay, well, what if I need to go with 5% on a listing, and I give the buyer's agent half? Now you can see the difference. You're going to make $7,600 instead of what we had before, 94. So you can play around with this when you're thinking about, doing a discount listing, or if you're at that place where you're not, you've capped out with your broker does a cap, so you can go in here and you can just do 0% to your broker and see how much more you're going to make, because maybe you've hit your cap for the year. So in this case, you're going to make 12 grand. You're going to make over 12 grand if you've hit your cap. It's just some things that you can play around with. Now, obviously, all of this is locked out over here, so you will never be able to actually go in and change these things. So just know that if you click on it and you can't type in it, it is a locked block. But you can go in and change things over under the marketing expenses, closing expenses, and you can put in that percentage of a referral fee here. And of course, these white blocks up here can be clicked on. And at any time, if you want to learn more and you're not part of our Marketing and Conversion Leads for Realtors Facebook group, you can just click right here. And that's going to take you to our Facebook group where you can click Join Group, answer 3 questions, and you'll be in. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot. I hope this sheet helps you. Of course, you want to do one of these for every listing you get. And you're just going to go up and save it as the name of your client and listing expense sheet. So in this case, you would save it as Donald Bright listing expense sheet. So you always have those, and I do recommend keeping all of your listing expense sheets in a folder on your computer or on the cloud that says listing expense sheets. Again, thanks for watching.